Hello everyone, welcome to the Makri Virtual. Hope you are doing good. Today I'm going to continue with a module that is Procedural Programming module. In the last class we have discussed about chapter number 12, that is the input output or the file input output. Today I'm going to cover, or today I'm going to start with the third chapter or 13th chapter, that is the next part, that is chapter number 13, that is more issues that is related in input output. That is, what are the issues that is available in input and output. So these are the issues that is available in input and output, that is available for the giving the input and taking the output in the C language whenever we use the file concept. So I'm starting with chapter number 13, that is more issues in input and output. You are not getting my voice? Hello, 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 hello. Hello, hello, hello. Are you able to hear me? Hello, 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 hello. Okay, 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 okay. Okay, okay, thanks. What about Olesam? Are you able to hear me? Yet, Olesam, are you able to hear me? So I'm going to start with the 13th chapter, that is chapter number 13, that is more issues in input and output. That is, what are the extra issues or what are the new issues that is available whenever we give the input and whenever we take the output. That is the more issues that is available in input and output. In this chapter we will study about a few concepts like ARGC, ARGV, detecting the errors in reading writing, standard input output devices, input output redirection that includes output input and both the input and the output, and then there is a summary, there is an exercise. So these are the 5 to 6 topics that I will covering in this chapter. So let's start with this chapter, that is chapter number 13. So this is the first topic, that is how to use ARGC and ARGV. This says in chapter 11 and 12 we show that how console and the file input output are done in C language. That is, chapter number 11 and 12 are on the basis of the input and output, that shows how we are performing the input operations and how we are performing the output operations. In case of a console, that is only keyboard is used and the video is used. And also we also show about the file input output, that is how file will be used for inputting the data and outputting the data. There are still some more issues that is related with input output that remains to be understood. These issues helps in making the input output operations more elegant. That is, there are various issues that is available in console input output and file input output. Now what are the operations or what are the issues that is available? The first topic is using the ARGC and the ARGV. These are the two arguments that is used. One is ARGC, argument C, one is ARGV. This says to execute the file copy program that we saw in chapter number 12. We saw in chapter number 12, that is how to write the data, that is the how to execute the file copy program, how to copy the data, how to read the data, how to write the data. In chapter number 12 we are required to first type the program, compile it and then execute it. That is, there are various parts. First of all we have to type the program, then we have to compile by using the Alt F9, then execute it by using the Control F9. So first of all typing the code by using the Turbo C or the Turbo C++, then compile the code by using the Alt F9, then executes the code by using the Control F9. So these are the various parts. This said this program can be improved in two ways. Means, what are the improvement areas that we did in the last class? The first point says there should be no copy or no need to compile the program every time to use the file copy utility. That is, there is no need or there is no motto to again and again compile the same program every time whenever we use the file copy utility. It means that the program must be executable at a command prompt, that is A or C. This means there is no utility or there is no need to again and again compile the same program every time. Instead we can use, or the program must be executable at the command prompt, that is A or the C. if you are using MS-DOS, that is, if I am using the MS-DOS, then use either A or either C. How to use? Simply go to the start, a run dialog box appear if you are using Windows, and $prompt if you are using $sign. That is, if you are using the Windows operating system, this will appear in the MS-DOS whenever we use the MS-DOS, and whenever you use the operating system that is Unix, a $sign will be appear. So these are the various signs that is available in the command prompt. This is available in case of Windows, this is available in case of Linux or Unix. This is instead of the program prompting us to enter the source and the target file name, we must be able to supply them at the command prompt. That is, second advantage or second improvement is that we again and again give the file name, that is file pointer fp, file fopen, database.dat. So we have to give the again and again every time we have to use the file copy utility. So instead of writing the program again and again or prompting the user to enter the source file, file name, target file name, we must be able to supply them at the command prompt in the form this one. This is the form, that is a file copy pr1.c pr2.c. So this is the file copy command that is used to copy the source file and the target file. This is the file copy, and this is the pr1.c and the pr2.c, where pr1c is the source file name and pr2.c is the target file name. This means the content of this file will be copied to the another file, that is pr2.c. The first improvement is simple. In MS-DOS, the executable file, the one which is executed at command prompt at an extension .exe, can be created in Turbo C++ by using the F9 to compile the program. That is, the improvement is very simple. That is the first improvement. We have to use, or we use only the executable file that is available in MS or C language, that is .exe, that can be created in Turbo C or the C++. In VC++ compiler under Windows, same can be done by using the F7 to compile the program. So this is F9 is used and the F7 is used to compile the programs. Under Unix, this is not required, since in Unix every time we have to compile the program, we always get a executable file. The second improvement is possible by passing the source file name and the target file name to the function main function. That is the second improvement. This is the second improvement. We have to give the name by using the target and the source file name within the main function, that is illustrated below. This is the example. The same example, I'm using one header file, that is #include stdio.h. So this is the header file that is used. Then uses the main function. In this we have to use the two arguments. One is int argc, then char argv. This is the array type and that is of pointer type. So this argv is a pointer variable. It is a pointer variable or pointer array that is of character type. So argv is a pointer variable of character type and argc is of integer type. This comes under the main function. So these are the arguments of the main function. Then this is the file. This is the file keyword that is used. Then there is a fs, that is the pointer fs and the pointer ft. Then char ch, that is ch is also a variable that is of character type that takes only 1 byte in memory. So till now we have covered about the arguments, that is the argc and the argv. Argc and the okay, all right, Olesam, no issues. So this fs and the ft are the two pointer variables or the file pointer that is used, and this is the main function. These are the arguments of the argc and the argv. Then char ch, this is the point variable that is declared. Then using if argc is not equals to 3, that is check the condition. If it is not equals to 3, then puts improper number of arguments. This is the argc. So if it not equals to 3, then simply prints the value improper number of arguments. Then there is a exit function, there is a closing curly braces. Then we have to open the new file, that is done by the fopen function. So fopen is used for opening a new file. Then argv1, this is the array that is used, that is opened in read mode. Then check if fs equals to none. So because this file will be opened, this array will be opened at the first location. Then it check for the null, that is the null character. If it is equals to null, that is the file does not contains nothing, then puts cannot open the source file. Then there is a exit function. This if will be cleared means first of all check for the null character. If it is there, that is if there is a null character, then simply puts or prints cannot open the source file. Then there is a exit function. Right. Then uses the next file pointer, that is the ft pointer, that uses or we use fopen function for opening a file. Then we use argv2. So first of all we have used argv1, then we have used argv2. Then there is a, or this is the mode, or this is the opened in w mode, that is a w. Then again check for the null. If it is equals to null, simply puts cannot open the target file. Then fclose fs, that is the fs or the file pointer, that is fs will be closed. Then uses the while condition, uses the while operator, uses the while condition that executes n number of time, that is a unlimited loop. Then uses the fgetC function, and which variable is used, which pointer is used, that is the fs function. So one is fgetC, that is able to read the data from the memory, that is the fgetC, and the fputs is used for writing the data into the memory. So two variables are used. In this we have used the fgetC for writing or getting the data from the memory, and stores the output in the ch variable. Then check for the end of the file, that is if the we reach to the end of the file, they simply break and put or uses the putc, that is the fputc, that is used for printing purpose, uses two variables, that is ch and the ft. So this is the scenario. I'm repeating again. We use the, or this program uses the while function or the while condition. Then check for the, or gets uses the fgetC for getting the data into the memory. Then check for the end of the file. If it is equals to end of the file, then simply use the break, that is wind up. Else, that is if there is the end of the file, then simply put the break. Else, that is otherwise use the fputc function, that is used for printing the values that contains two arguments ch and the ft. Then fclose function will be used for closing the file that contains fs and the ft. So this is the program that shows how we are using the argc function and argv function. The argument that we pass to the main at the command prompt are known as the command line argument. So whenever a question arises, what is argc and the argv? These are the command line argument that is written inside the parenthesis of the main function. So these are the command line arguments. The main function can have two arguments, that is argc and the argv. Out of this, argv is an array of pointer to string, while argc is an integer whose value is equals to the number of string to which argv points. Then when the program is executed, that is whenever we execute the program, the strings on the command line are passed to the main. That is the string that is given is passed to the, or are passed to the main function. More precisely, the strings at the command line are stored in memory, and address of the first string is stored in argv0. That is, we are using the command line argument, we are using the strings for the command line argument that is stored in memory, and address of the first string is stored in argv0. Address of the second string is stored in argv1, and so on. The argument argc is set to the number of string that is given on the command line. That is, argc is used to set the number of string that is available or that is given on the command line. For example, in our sample program, if any at the command prompt we give this one, that is file copy pr1.c pr.c, then argc would contain 3. Why 3? Because at the 0 location the base address of the file copy is used. Then at one location pr1.c base address is used, and at the second location, that is argv2, would contain base address of the string, that is pr2.c. Whenever we pass the argument through the main function, it is a good habit to check whether the correct number of argument has been passed on to the main or not. That is, whenever we give the command or whenever we use the argc, so first of all check the for the main condition, that is we have supplied the or we have passed the right arguments or not. How this can be done for checking purpose? This is used for checking the condition, that is if argc is not equals to 3, then simply printf improper number of argument, then there is a exit function. So this is used for checking the argument, for checking the correct number of argument that is passed to the main function. Rest of the program is same as the earlier file copy program. This program is better than the earlier on the two ways. Why? Because there is no need to recompile the program every time we want to use this utility. That is, there is no need or there is no requirement to recompile the program every time. It can be executed at command prompt. Second, we are able to pass source file name and the target file name to the main function and utilize them in main function. That is, we have to pass the source file name, that is for example pr1.c, and the target file name, for example pr.c, to the main function. One final comment, the while loop that we used in our program can be written into a more compact way. This is the another example, but this is not in use because this combines two lines, means at the same line it is using the ch operator and the fgets function, and at the same line it is using the end of the file, that is checking for the end of the file. This avoids the usage of an indefinite loop and a break statement. Here the first gets the character. As I told you, it gets the character from the file and store in the memory and assigned to the variable, that is ch, right, where ch is compared against eof. This is the same as I told you. There is one way of writing one more way of writing this one. This is this one. This means we have to check the condition in while loop only. There is no requirement for writing this one end of the file because we have used in the or we have written in the while loop only. Here FOP is a macro which returns the 0 if the end of the file is not reached. Here we use the not operator to negate this 0 to the truth value. When the end of the file is reached, EOF, that is file end of file, returns a non-zero value. Note that in each of them the following three methods for opening a file are same, since in each of them essentially a base address of the string is been passed to fopen. That is the same. Now next part is detecting errors in reading and writing. Till now we have covered argc, argv, that are known as command line argument, that is used to print the output, or that is used to give the argument, or that is used for the predefined argument. What are the advantages whenever we use the command line argument? There is no need to recompile the same program again and again. And we have second advantage is that we also showed we also copy the program, we also write the source file name and the target file name. We have also copied the program from one file to the another file within the command prompt also. Then detecting errors in reading and writing, that is how to detect the errors in reading and writing. That is the next part. This says whenever we perform read or write operations on a file, we are successfully in doing so. Naturally, there must be a provision to test whether our attempt to read or write was successful or not. That is, whether our test or whether our attempt to read or write was successful or not. The one function or the one standard library function. What is the name of the function? that is the ferror function, reports any error that might have occurred during a read-write operation on a file. So how to detect the errors in reading and writing? By using the one standard library function. That standard library function name is ferror function. It returns a 0 if the read-write is successful and a non-zero value in case of a failure. That is, it returns a 0 if the read-write is successful and a non-zero in case of a failure. The following program illustrates the usage of ferror function. This is the example that is used for showing the ferror function. This is hash include stdi.h, that is the header file that is used. Then there is a main function, that is a main is starting or main has started. Then there is a file pointer, that is a file. Then there is a pointer fp. So this is the pointer fp that is used for the file pointers. Then char ch, that is ch is a variable that is of character type. Then uses the fopen function or uses the fopen for opening a file. The name of the file is trial and it is open in W mode, that is the write mode. Then the file pointer is used in which we have to store the data after opening a file, that is a fp function, that is a file pointer fp, right? Now while not equals to file end of the file, that is till it will execute till the fp, that is the content is not reaches to the end of the file, that is the feof. Then uses the fgetC function for reading the data or for taking the character by character or taking the data one by one or line by line from the fp and stored in the ch. Now if there is an error, that checks the condition if error, that is if error, then printf errors in reading a file. That is, if there is an error, then simply print that there is an error in reading a file. Break otherwise. If there is no error, simply prints the ch value. What is the ch value? That we deserve or that we takes or that we get after using the fgetC function. That is, what is the content or what are the bytes or what are the values that is available in the fp function or the trial file. Then fclose fp, and this program fgetC function would obviously fail first time around since the file has been opened for writing purpose, that is it is used for writing purpose, whereas fgetC is attempting to read from the file, that is it is available in write mode, but fgetC is used to read the data in the read mode or in the from the read mode. So this give the errors. Simply it will give the errors and prints the output errors in reading a file. The moment the error occurs, ferror returns a non-zero and if block get executed. Instead of printing the error message using printf, we can use the standard library function, that is perr, which prints the error message specified by the compiler. Therefore, in the above program, the perr function can be used as shown. So one more error comes, that is a perr function for printing the error, that is a perr. This is if there is a perr, then simply prints the error, that is a trial, then there is a break. Note that when the error occurs, the error message that is displayed is trial, that is a permission denied. So this is the example of how to get the error and whenever error comes, how to print the error. This means we can precede the system error message with any of the message of your choice. In our program, we have just displayed the file name in place of the error message. This is what the computer gives, but we have defined the trial over here, right, by using the perr function. Now, what are the standard input-output devices? So this is the ferror is clear. That means we have to detect the errors in input and output by using the ferror function. And how the error or what type of error or which is the what is the error in C language, that will be printed by using the next command, by using the next printf statement, that is a perr function. P stands for print. There is a error, that is a perr function. Next part is standard input output devices. Means what are the standard input output devices that is available. Then now we have covered two topics or three topics. One is command line arguments, one is detecting the error, that is using the ferror function. Next part is standard input output devices. This says to perform reading or writing operations on a file, we need to use the function that is the fopen function. That is whenever we have to perform some reading and writing programs, right? So we have first of all opening a file, that is done by the fopen function. We set up a file pointer to refers to this file. That is, which setup means which creates a file pointer that refers to this file. Most operating system also predefined pointers for three standard files. That is, almost or most of the operating system like Windows, Linux also predefined pointers. That is, they are predefining the pointer. What are the pointer? That is the pointer fp and the pointer ft. Predefined pointer for three standard files. To access these pointers, we need not use fopen function. That is, if the pointers are defined, there is no requirement for writing the fopen function. These standard file pointers are shown in figure 13.1. One is stdin, that is the first standard file pointer. The description is standard input device. Next stdout, that is the next is standard output device, that is video. Next stderr, that is a standard error device, that is also a video. These are the various pointers that is used. One is stdin, one is stdout, one is stderr. Therefore, the statement ch equals to fgetc stdin, that is, I am using the fgetc function for reading the character, for reading the data from the keyboard rather than from the file. That is, whenever we use the stdin, it reads the data from the keyboard, from the input device, that is a keyboard, rather than from the file. We can use this statement without any need to use fopen or fclose function calls. That is, there is no need to use the fopen function or fclose function. Note that under MS-DOS, two different standard pointers are available. One is stdprn and one is stdaux. They stand for standard printing device and standard auxiliary device. The following program shows how to use the standard file pointers. That is a program that shows how to read the data from the disk and how to print to the printer. This is a print file content on a printer. That is how to print the content with the help of the printer. First of all, the same stdio.h, that is a hash include header file. Then there is a main function that is used. Then there is a file pointer. This is the main function that is used. Then there is a file keyword, there is a pointer, that is a fp is a file pointer. Then char ch, so ch is a variable that is of character type. Then uses the fopen function, and which file is open? That is a poem.txt, and then that poem.txt will open in the read mode. Then check for the null. If it is equals to the null, simply prints cannot open the file, there is a exit function. But if it is not equals to null, then check for the condition by taking into one line. There is no mandatory that we have to take into one line. We can also divide into two lines. That is, in one line it is in one line it is mentioned ch equals to fgetc fp. Now check the condition, that is, if ch equals to not equals to end of file, then use the fputc function. But in this, it is defined in only one line, that is while ch yes, this program will carry out in MS-DOS, but there are some limitations like this one. We have to use the stdprn in MS-DOS and stdaux in MS-DOS. So this is the program that is used in MS-DOS. So this is while this uses the end of the file not equals to. Then if it is not equals to end of the file, simply fputc ch stdprn, that is simply prints the value of the stdprn by using stdprn into ch and then using the fputc function to display or to write on the file. Then uses the fclose function, uses the file pointer. What is the file pointer that is used? That is the fp. This says the statement fputc, that is the ch, and the stdprn writes a character read from the file to the pointer. That is, it reads the character or it writes the character that is read from the file to the pointer. Note that although we opened the file on the disk, we didn't open the stdprn, that is the printer. Standard files and their use in redirection have been dealt with more detail in the next section. Now, next category is your input-output redirection. That is how we can redirect the input and output functions. This says most operating system incorporates a powerful feature that allows a program to read and write files even when such a capability has not been incorporated in a program. That is, most of the operating system provides or has a incorporated, that is a predefined powerful feature that allows a program to read and write files. That is, that allows means that makes the program to read and write files even when such a capability has not been incorporated in the program. That is, if the capability is not there, even though it has to read and write the files. This is done through a process known as the redirection process. That is, a program, even when or we have to give the program or that allows the program to read the data and write the file, even capability is not incorporated in the program. That is known as the redirection. That is, the redirected the program even though the program cannot accept the input and output or read and write. Normally, a C program receives its input from the STD or the standard input device, that is STDIN, which is assumed to be the keyboard, and send the output to the standard output device, which is assumed to be VDU, that is Video Display Unit. In other words, OS makes certain assumptions about where input will be given and where output will be given, or where output should come from or where output should go. Redirection permits us to change these assumptions. Using redirection, the output of the program normally goes to the VDU, can be sent to the disk or the printer. This means till now we have covered how to or how to rotate the or how to move the file to the VDU, that is how to display the data with the help of VDU. But if I am using the redirection, that is the input output redirection, then we simply or we normally goes to the VDU and can be sent to the disk or the printer. That is, a program can also be sent to the disk or the printer without really making a provision for it in the program. This is often a more convenient and flexible approach than providing a separate function in the program to write to the disk or printer. Means we are not supposed to do the separate programming for the compiling or for writing the data to the disk or printer. No, there is a redirection operation that redirects the data that is available for VDU to the disk or the printers. Means we have to apply only one function and then the output will automatically go from the VDU to the disk or the printer. Similarly, redirection can also be used to read the information from the disk file directly into a program instead of receiving the input from the keyboard, right? So these are the this is known as the redirection. That is, we have to simply write the or we have to directly write the data to the disk file. In the same way, we have to simply fetch the data, receives the input from the disk file. To use redirection facility is to execute the program from the command prompt. That is, whenever we use the indirection facility or the redirection facility, we have to use the command prompt or we have to execute the program from the command prompt. Inserting the redirection symbol at appropriate places Let us understand with the help of few examples. The first point says redirecting the output. That is how to redirect the output. Let us see how we can redirect the output of a program from the screen to a file, which we will start by considering the simple program showing or shown below. That is how to redirect the output. This is the hash include stdi.h. This is the plus that is used. Then there is a main function. That is a main function. Then char ch. So ch is a variable that is of character type. Then uses while loop. That is ch equals to get c stdin. That is it check for the condition and it stores the output in ch by using the get c function. That is the get c is used for getting the file or getting the or read the file or how to read the file that is available in standard input that is available in keyboard. Then check for the condition. If it is not equals to end of the file, then simply put c, that is printf ch std out. That is simply printf, or uses the put c for printing, uses the ch and the std out. Then closes the main function. On compiling this program, we would get an executable file. What is the name of the executable file? That is util.exe. Why? Because the name of the file is util.c. This is the name defined. So we have or we get the executable file that is a util.exe. This means when whatever the name we are given to the C language or C programming language or C program, the same name will be available in the executable file. Means the executable will be created for the same name like util.c. So the executable is util.exe. Normally, when we execute this file, the putc function will cause whatever we type to be printed on the screen. That is, putc is used for printing the data that is available on the screen until we do not type control z, at which points the program will terminate, or at which point the program will terminate. As shown in the following sample run. The so until we have pressed the control Z, it will not execute or it will not go now. The control Z character is often known as the end of the file character. This means whenever we press the control Z, that represents that we have or we are going to the or we are moving to the end of the file character. Right, so this is the example in C language that is used, that is util.exe. This says perhaps I had a wicked childhood, perhaps I had a miserable youth, but sometime in my wicked miserable past there must have been moment of truth. Control Z. That is, whenever we use the control Z, this will stop over here. Note that, yeah, this is important one. This is command prompt that is available in the command prompt. Now let us see what happens when we invoke this program from in a different way using redirection. That is, whenever we use the redirection, how we can compile the program or how we can execute the program in a different way. That is how to make the program trustworthy in a different way. So first of all, there is a C util.exe. So util.exe is the executable file of the util program. Then there is a poem.txt. This is the name of the file that is used for the executable file. Here we are causing the output to be redirected to the file. That is, it calls the output that passes the data or redirected to the file. That is, what is the file name? That is poem.txt. Can we prove that this output has indeed gone to the file that is poem.txt? Yes, by using the type command as follows. That is, We can also prove that the output has gone to the poem.txt only by using the type command. This is the command that is used. This shows that the output is transferred to the next file. Output is transferred to the file that is the name given after type, that is poem.txt. This is what is stored in the this one, that is the perhaps I had a big childhood, and so on, so on, so on. There is a result of our typing sitting in the file. That is, there is also a result of our typing that is available in the file. The redirection operation or operator, that is the redirection operator, that is this one, this symbol. This is used or causes any output intending for the screen to be written to the file whose name follow the operator. That is, if I am using this one, that means we have to give the output, or we have to causes the output, or we have to store the data into the file that is the uses, or that uses the character, or that uses the word that is type poem.txt. That means sending the data, or retrieving the data, or outputting the data into the file that is poem.txt. Note that the data to be redirected to a file does not need to type by the user at the keyboard. The program itself can generate it. This is the most important line, that the data that is to be that the data that is to be redirected to a file does not need to type it again and again by a user at the keyboard. The program itself can generate it. Any output normally sent to the screen can be redirected to a disk file. As an example, consider the following program for generating the ASCII table on the screen. This is the example of ASCII.c file name. There is a main function, there is a variable that is ch, that is of integer type. Then uses int ch equals to 0. Sorry, for ch equals to 0. That is, for loop is used. That first part is your initialization, that is ch equals to 0. Then ch is less than equals to 255. That is, it starts from 0 and ends with 255. That is, it contains the data from 0 to 255, that is 256 in totality. Then there is a ch++, that is, every time it will be incremented like a variable. Then uses printf /n %d %c ch. So sorry. That is, 1%d is used for the integer value, 1%c is used for the character value. So two values will be printed. One is the %ch, one is the ch. That is, one is in the form of integer, one is in the form of character. Let's see. When the program is compiled and then executed at the command prompt using the redirection operator. That is, this is the method how the program is compiled and executed at a command prompt. This is the example. We have to use the command prompt. What is the command prompt? That is C and the symbol. Then what is the name of the file? That is ascii.exe. Then again uses the symbol. What is the name of the file? The table.txt. This says when the program is compiled and executed at a command prompt using the redirection operator, the output is written to the file. How the output is written? That is, this is the way the output is written. That means uses the exe file, executable file, that is ascii.executable, and writes the data into the file. What is the name of the file? That is table.txt. This can be useful capability, or this can be a useful capability anytime you want to capture the output in a file. So this is a very useful capability or useful criteria where anytime or every time you need to capture the output in a file rather than displaying on the or displaying it on the screen. That is, we have to capture the output in a file rather than displaying it on a screen. DOS predefined a number of file name for its own. That is MS-DOS disk operating system predefines a number of file names. That is, there are a number of file names that is available, or predefines a file name that is available for its own usage. One of these names is PRN, which stands for printer. So this is the file name that is not used by the user, that gives an error because this is a predefined keyword or predefined file name that is already taken by the C compiler or the C language, which stands for the printer. The output can also be redirected to the printer by using this file name. That is, we also give the output, or the output can also be redirected by using the command, what is the command? That is the PRN. For example, if you want to invoke the sky.exe program, that is, if you invoke the program, that is the sky.exe program in this way, this is the example how to print the output to a file or to the output file, that is a PRN file. So this is the C command prompt, this is the sky, this is the PRN, that is outputting the data, or using the print command or the printer, or the output can be redirected to the printer. So whenever we use this one, this means it uses the sky file and stores the data into the table.txt. Whenever we use this one, this means the sky.exe is used, and this or the sky file will be printed or will be carried forward to the next part, that is a PRN part, that is the output will be displayed on the printer. The sky table will be printed on the printer. So this is the how we can redirect the output. In simple terms, we have to use the command prompt, we have to give the redirect the output to the printer by using the PRN command. Next, redirecting the input, that is the next part. So first of all, let's take a break because I'm so tired today. So let's take a break first of all, then starting with the next part, that is redirecting the input. After doing so, I have to first of all take the break, then come back, then starting with this topic, that is redirecting the input. So let's take a break. The session, or let's continue with the session. So come back from the break. One question that arises from Larry, that we are able to do this program practically. No, Larry, this is not possible because what the system I'm using, that has a Windows operating system, but this examples like this one will operates on the command prompt that has a operating system, that has a DOS operating system or the Linux operating system. But my system on which I am working is a window based operating system, so it is not possible to write this program over here. Okay, so next option is redirecting the input, that is how to redirect to the input. Till now we have covered how to redirect the output. Now it's a time to redirect the input. This is, we can also redirect the input to a program, so that means we can also because we have done already how to redirect the output. This is, we can also redirect the input to a program, so that instead of reading a character from the keyboard, a program reads it from a file. That is, instead of reading a character, instead of getting a character from the keyboard, we have to read the data from the file. That is a redirection operation, that is a redirecting the input. That is, till now we have covered how to get the data from the keyboard. Now it's a time to get the data or get the character from the file. Now let us see how this can be done. To redirect the input, we need to have a file containing something to be displayed. Suppose we use a file that is known as newpoem.txt that contains the following line. So this is the example of the name of the file, that is newpoem.txt, that contains the following lines. Let's start at the beginning, a very good place to work. We assume that some text editor, that using some text editor, these lines have been put in the file, that is newpoem.txt. That is, This is the example that I have created one file that is a new poem.txt that contains two lines. What are the two lines? The first line said, let's start at the very beginning, and the second line said, a very good place to start. Now, we use the input redirection operator. Which operator? Less than operator before the file as shown below. This is the util.exe, that is the name of the executable file. Which symbol is used? That is the redirection operator symbol is used. This is the redirection operator. Then new poem.txt. This is the name of the file. What is the name of the file? That is new poem.txt. Then type the two lines. Let's start at the very beginning, a very good place to start. Then C, close. That is, this is the opening, that is at the starting phase. This is the starting and this is the ending. This line or the lines are printed on the screen with no further effort on your part. Using redirection, we have made our program, that is util.c, perform the work of the type command. That is as we see earlier, the type is used to type the character or to print the character or to getting the data into the file. In the same way, the util.c or the indirection or the redirection, we can perform the work of the type command. Now both ways at once, that is, now we are combining. We have covered about the redirecting the input, redirecting the output. Now it's a time to merge up, that is both. At the same time we have to redirect the input, at the same time we have to redirect the output. So that is redirection of input and output. That can be used together. The input for a program can come from the file via redirection. At the same time, its output can be redirected to a file. So at the same time, the program gets the input from a file via redirection. At the same time, the output can be redirected to another file via output. Such a program is known as filter. Means this program or such a program is known as the filter. The following command illustrates or demonstrates this process. That is the command that is used. This is util, that is the utility file or util file. This is the new poem.txt. This is the new poem.txt. This is the poetry.txt. In such case, our program receives the redirected input from a file, that is the new poem.txt. So this gets the input from the file, that is the inputted file, that is the first file, that is the source file. And instead of sending the output to a screen, it will send the output or redirect to the file, that is poetry.txt. This is the input file, that is new poem.txt. This is the output file, that is poetry.txt. So we are using the new poem.txt for getting the input from the file and using the poetry.txt for sending the output to a file, and the name of the file is poetry.txt. Similarly, to send the content of the file new poem.txt to the file pointer, we use the following command. Means at the same time we are also able to get the send the content of the file, that is the input file new poem.txt, to the printer also. That is, it is also in our hand or capability to send the content of the file, that is new poem.txt, to the printer by using this command. So this is util is used. Then there is a new poem.txt. This is the name of the input file that will be going into the PFM. So remember, input is represented by this symbol, this operator, and the output is represented by this operator. This means this is used for getting the input or input file. This is used for outputting the file, that is used to get the output that is stored in the file. Similarly, to send the content of the file, this is used, right? While using such multiple redirection. Multiple means at the same time it is used for input, at the same time it is used for output. Don't try to send the output to the same file from which you are receiving the input. That is, it is not working, or it not works whenever you use the same file name over here and the same file name over here. That is not possible. That is, you take the input from the same file, you get the or you store the output in the same file. But that is not possible. That is also not correct. Why? Because the output file is erased before it is written to. That is, the output file is erased means output file is removed before it is written to. That is, whenever we use the output file, it must be erased first of all. Then the yes, output is used by using the this symbol. This is the output. This is the input. Right. So this says that is not possible if I am using the same file for input, same file for output. Why? Because when we write the data, the earlier data must have been, or it has been erased off, or it has been removed from the file. So by the time we manage to receive the input from a file, it is already erased. Next point says, next paragraph says, redirection can be a powerful tool for developing utility programs. That is, it is a powerful tool. Which is a powerful tool? That is, a redirection is a powerful tool that is used for developing the utility programs. The utility programs means the program that is used to examine or alter the data in a files. Therefore, thus redirection is used to establish a relationship between the program and the file. That is, we are using the file, we are using the program. So it creates a relationship between the program and the file. Also, or another operating system operator can also be used to relate two programs directly. That is, we are using on the two files, we are using on the two programs directly, or we are using one by one, means combination of the program and the file, or combination of files, or combination of the program, anything. Yes, Olesam, the poetry and the poem are used to create the utility program. This is the poetry, this is the poem, this is the input file, means the util is the name of the file which takes the input into this one and gives the output to the this one. So this is the input file that gives the input to the util, and the output that is generated is written into the poetry.txt. This means this is the basic file that uses the input from this one that places the output to this one. Is that clear, Olesam? No, it is not a standard. This is the example that is available over here. I'm taking one example that has a value util.tc, like this one. This is the example of util. These are the example of poem, util. So this is just an example like this one. I'm using this example from first part. This is the util.c. This is the content in util.c. This is just the name of the file, nothing else. Is that clear, Olesam? All right. So this is another operating system operator that can be used. All right. Another operating system operator that can be used to relate two programs directly so that the output of one is fed directly into another with no files involved. This is known as piping. So till now we have covered how to get the input from one file, how to generate the output to the or give the output to the another file. This says one more method is used to get the input, or one more method is used to combine the data. That is, output of one becomes the input of another. That is known as the piping. That can be done by using the operator. Which is the operator that is used? This is a single pipe that is used, that is known as the pipe. We won't pursue this topic because you have read about it in the operating system help manual. That is, in simple terms, piping is used to link or to combine two files together. That is, whenever we have to merge, whenever we have to combine two files, that can be done by the pipelining or pipe. Now, that's all for this chapter. Now, let's start with the summary. This is most important part. First point says we can pass the parameter to a program at command line using the concept of command line argument. Remember, at the starting we have studied about the ARGC and the ARGV. That are the command line argument that becomes the arguments for the main function. That is, we are using the ARGC and the ARGV in the main function. Second point says the command line argument, that is ARGV, contains value that is passed to the program. That is, we are using the ARGV argument, ARGV command line argument that is used to pass the, that is used to contain the value that is passed to the argument. Whereas ARGC contains number of arguments. So ARGV contains the data or the values, while ARGC contains the number of arguments. Next point says we can use the standard file pointer, that is stdin, to take the input from the standard input device such as keyboard. That is, we can take the, or we can use the standard file pointer. What is the name of the standard file pointer? That is stdin, to take the input from the standard input device such as keyboard. Next point says we can also use, or we can use the standard file pointer, that is the stdout, for taking the, or to send the output to the standard output device such as monitor. So one is stdin for getting the input from the keyboard, one is stdout for getting or for sending the output to the standard output device, that is monitor. Again there are two standard file pointers, that is stdprn and the stdaux. Next is there are two standard file pointers, one is stdprn, one is stdaux, that interact with the printer and the auxiliary devices. Auxiliary devices means the secondary devices that is used to take the backup. Next point says redirection allows a program to read the data from or to write to the file at the command prompt. That is, at the command prompt, redirection is used to get the data or read the data from a file and get the data to the, or write the data to the file at the command prompt. The operators, these are known as redirection operator. One is used for input, one is used for output. This is a summary. Now this is the exercise. Now let's see about this one. The question arises, we can send the arguments at the command line even if we define main function without parameters. That is, this question says we can send the arguments, means we are able to send the arguments at the command line even if we define main function without parameters. So it is possible to send the arguments at the command line if we define the main function without the parameter. That is, there is no parameter of the ARGC and the ARGV, and we are sending the arguments of the command line. That is not possible because we have to so answer is false. That is not correct. Why not correct? Because whenever we use the ARGC and the ARGV, it's a mandatory condition to give these parameters in the main function. That is the main criteria, main standard criteria. Next question says, to use standard file pointers, we don't need to open the file using fopen. That is, whenever we use the standard file pointers like stdin, stderr, stdoutput, that is the OUT. So it is, or we do not have to need to open the file using the fopen function. Yeah, that's true. So the answer is true. Whenever we use the standard file pointer, there is no requirement or there is no need to open the file, that is done by the fopen function. Next point says, using stdaux, we can send the output to the printer if the printer is attached to the serial port. That is false. Why? Because as we study, whenever we use the stdaux, like this one, this is used for the auxiliary devices, right? But stdprn is used for the printer. So the answer is false. The zeroth element of the ARGV array is always the name of the exe file. This says the first element of the ARGV array is always the name of the exe file. Yeah, that's true. Now these are the various programs, these are the various questions. Now next chapter is operations on bits. That is, what is the operators or how we can use the operators. I'm not going to start this topic or this chapter in the today's class, but now I'm doing the practical approach, that is using the Turbo C or the Turbo C++ for accessing the or for using the Turbo C data or the getting the program executed over there. So let's start with the practical approach. Um, my first target is that I have to use I have to calculate the area of a triangle. So whenever we calculate the area of a triangle, the formula is length into breadth. That is, what is the length, what is the breadth? When we multiply the length and the breadth, that gives the area of a triangle, right? So now my target is to calculate the area of a triangle using the C language. So first of all, the header file will include it, that is hash include stdio.h. Then new file will be inserted, that is hash include conio.h. Then the main function will start it, that is the void main, right? Then there is a curly braces, then defines the variables like int area, because area is a function, then length, then breadth, then there is a semicolon because I have to terminate this line. Now getting the data from the user using the printf, that is using the this one, that is enter the length of area, this will be closed, then there is a semicolon, then uses a scanf, uses the percentage %d. Why I'm using percentage %d? Because it is written in already a program. This is percentage %d, and what is the name of the variable? By using the ampersand, that is the length. Then curly braces will be closed. Now I have to use the printf breadth of area, then again semicolon. Now using the scanf, uses the percentage %t, breadth, there is a bracket that is missing over here, this one. Now uses the function, that is area equals to length into breadth, then there is a semicolon. Now I have to print the output, that output will be printed like this one. Area of a I'm using percentage %d. Why? Because the main reason is that I'm using already the area is in integer, that is area is in integer. For example, area, then uses the semicolon for printf. Now if I'm using getch, this will be used for printing purpose, then this semicolon will be used. First of all, I have to apply the key that is Alt F9. There are four errors in this. Now let's see. Sorry. Unable to open the file that is hash include stdio.h. Why? The main reason is that there is a spelling mistake. I have to use stdio.h. Now if I compile this, there is one error, function called missing. That is, this is missing. Why? Because I am not using the comma over here. Now it is okay. There is no error right now. Now if I execute it, there is no error. Enter the length of the area. Suppose I have entered the length of the area as the 15. Now this says enter the breadth of the area. Again 12. The area of a triangle is 180. So this is the program that shows how to calculate the area of a triangle. In the same way, we can make the program for calculating the area of a cuboid, area of a cube, and data operations, and any mathematical calculation that you want. For example, addition, subtraction, division, multiplication, for using for loop. So this is the example that shows how to calculate the area of a triangle. So first of all, the header files will be included, that is hash include stdio.h, hash include conio.h. These are the two header files. Then main function will be used, that is a void main function. Then three variables are defined. What are the names of three variables? One is area, one is length, one is breadth. Then uses the printf function that uses that is printf for entering or for displaying the output on the screen, that is enter the length of the area. Then uses the scanf. This is the condition, that is a scanf that get the data or get that reads the data and store in the memory. Then in the next line there is a printf enter the breadth of the area, again using scanf, that is %d breadth. Then uses the area. This is the name of the variable, that is length into breadth, and the output will be stored in the area. Then uses the printf for printing the area. Then uses the getch function. This is how the C program will be written. There is a proper indentation, means curly brace if starts over here, this will close over here, and there must be some gap between this to this one, this to this one, right? Now if I am not using getch, what is the output? Now let's see. If I am using control F9, enter the area. Suppose I am giving 22 and the 12. There is no output display. Means there is no output display. If I have to display the output, we use Alt F5. The output is here, but if I am using getch, the output will display at the same time. So getch is used for displaying the output at the same time when we give the input to the command of the file or input to the C program. Enter the length of the area, that is 25, that is 35. The output is 875. Now you see, this is a hodgepodge, means there is no line gap among this, that is there is no line gap, there is no clear screen. Now if I have to clear the screen, we have to use the CLSCR over here, CLRSCR, like this one. Now every time whenever I execute this code, the area will be cleared. This is okay. Again if I compile, the area will be cleared, the screen will be clear. Now if I have to apply this into the next line, I am using /n over here. This is /n, this is /n, this is /n. Then the area will be 144 because there is a line gap among this, right? So this is how we can execute the code. Now if you have any doubts in this code, then please feel free to ask for me. Any doubt, anyone in this program? Yeah, 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 let it tell me. Yes, yes, sure. Yeah, clear screen is put after the declaration of the variables. That is, whenever we use the int abc, that is declaration of the variable, so I have to use the clear screen after the declaration of the variable, that is in the next line when we declare the variable. Okay, now let's see another program. Now I have to calculate the simple interest. First of all, the hash include will be used. For simple interest, I have to take three variables. One is P, one is R. P is in this one. Then I have to take the float. We have to define the R, that is the rate. Then time. The time is in integer only, PRT. In this we have to define the simple interest, that is SI. Now uses the printf. Uses scanf. Percentage P. Now I am asking from next part, that is enter the rate, then uses the scanf. The rate will be in float, that uses the percentage F, that is the float rate will be in R. Then uses the printf. Enter the time, again uses the scanf. Uses ampersand R, sorry, T. Now calculating the SI, that is P into R into T divided by 100. We have to put the bracket over here, right? Now uses the printf for displaying the output. That is SI. Now using getch. Now if I compile this code, there is one error. What is the error? Statement missing this one. Why? Because I missed the statement over here. I missed this one over here. Now if I compile this one, there is no error, there is a success. If I execute this one, enter the principal amount. Suppose I added 1000. Enter the rate. Suppose 2.5 is the rate. Enter the time. Suppose 5 years is the rate. So output will be 125.000. How this will be calculated? First of all, 1000 is multiplied by 2.5. then multiplied by the 5, then the output which comes after multiplying these three values, the output will be divided by the 100. So this is the formula that is used for calculating the simple interest. Now I'm repeating again, these are the header files that is used, that is stdir.h and the conio.h. There is a void main, that is a void main function. There is a curly brace. These are the variable declaration. P and T are in the integer, and the R and the SI, that is the output, is in the float. Then uses the printf for getting the principal amount, scanning in the memory, storing in the memory. Then uses the next printf for the rate, scanning in the memory. Uses the next printf for the time, scanning in the memory. Uses the SI function for the P into R into T divided by 100. This is the formula that is used for the SI. Then uses the printf for displaying the SI. Then get CH. So this is the way how we get done in the, or how we are doing in the C program. Is it clear to everyone? Suppose I've given the name that is simple interest. Now anyone any doubts? Okay, good. Anyone any doubts? Okay, thanks a lot. So I'm stopping over here only. Now welcome. If you have any doubts, then please text the doubt and I will answer you. In the tomorrow's class I will be starting your next topic, next chapter, that is operations on bits. So that's all for today's session. Thank you so much everyone. Now I'm repeating again, if there is any doubt, then please ask from me. So thanks a lot everyone. Bye bye.